So the question is whether any of the panelists or anyone else in the room has any examples of best practices that would help move the online culture in the direction of greater awareness of some of the risks of excessive personal information or other kinds of exposure.
I'll take a stab at it. First, let me just comment on your idea that one of the things we tell parents is the worst thing they can do is threaten to take away the internet, because that is these kids' social lives. I mean, it's all based on the internet, and if the kid thinks that the parent is going to turn off the internet, they'll never tell their parents anything, which is really, really a bad situation. Now, in terms of best practices, I happen to have with me Making Choices Online from Posey, excellent document. The Berkman Center report, Internet Enhancing Child Safety and Online Technology, also full of best practices. Adam Thier's document, Parental Controls and Online Protection. This is the classic seminal volume in this genre. We have the NCTA Point Smart ClickSafe Task Force, and this, in fact, the whole document is best practice recommendations, things that companies and others can do to help get the message through to parents. So I'm not sure that, well, I think we're having some success with kids. Kids are getting it, especially as Stacie said, the stranger danger message, they get that. They get all these other things. My hope is that in 10 years, these kids who get it will become parents, and so what we have is a temporal problem, right? So in the meantime, we have to deal with this generation of parents that aren't online. They may be working 2 or 3 jobs. They're not home. They're putting their kids at risk. And I think that's the challenge that these documents and the Osprey report, to a certain extent, try to address, is how do we reach the parents of the at-risk kids? And Berkman Center got to how do we reach the at-risk kids? That's the real challenge. How do we get the social workers hooked up with the kids who are doing these at-risk behaviors? So I commend all of these reports to you. I mean, there's good information that can be gleaned from all of this, and we, speaking as a former FOSI chair, we encourage theft of ideas and you know, sharing of best practices, if you will. That's the way to get the message around the world.
Any other comments on that? Let me just see if others. Did you have an answer to the question or a different question?
A different question.
Okay.
Okay, just I want to respond specifically. Social networking, the major social networking websites, a lot of them have you know, report abuse buttons, safety tips, ways for you to actually communicate with the site if there's instances of abuse. A lot of them do have algorithms that actually pick up on key phrases that might show aggressive types of language, behavior. Some of them have trained moderators that go into forums and try to, you know, work with them. I think I'll echo a lot what Mike said. There's been a lot of good work done there, and you know, we were talking about just in general about information on there. A lot of it is tied with bullying type behavior. We actually at Osterwig didn't find any tie between posting personal information and then having any kind of, you know, predator type behavior. There was no link there between, say, putting up your home address and then having someone show up at your door. But there is the link with you know, future jobs, with bullying, with harassment, that you certainly should be aware of, reputation type of issues with personal information.
Well, and I would just add something really, really basic. You know, my organization, about 2 summers ago, we went down to a university in North Carolina, and we had a group very similar to this one organized, where we had various school officials and PTA presidents and a variety of safety experts, social workers. We were really looking at a variety of pinpoints for these at-risk kids. And we sat around and we really, these books are terrific, and if you have all that time to read them, I would encourage you to do so. But we get that parents are busy, and that we're fighting for their attention. We've gone into schools to host trainings where no parent showed up, or 1 or 2 or a handful of parents, the same ones showing up every time. And we came up as a group with sort of a top 10 of what to do. How do you reach these parents, and what do you talk to them about? Because parents feel overwhelmed with all this technology. And you know, they don't have to be experts in every kind of technology to know what their kids are doing. Pick up their cell phone and look at who's in their record. Go onto their Facebook page and see what kind of information they're putting out. And at the end of the day, our number one sort of best practice recommendation was teach your kids, don't be a jerk online, right? Don't be a jerk in the real world. So have that same concept with those same consequences in place on your online world. And you know, it's just getting parents to not fear technology, and exactly what Mike said, don't take it away, because we hear from kids all the time that they already have a hard time going to some sort of authority figure to tell when they've been bullied or when they have had some sort of embarrassing photo posted or some sort of information they don't want. They go to their peer who doesn't know what to do with that information. So if you have that threat of taking away their access to their social world, you've lost the battle right there.
And it's hard to take away when they have these too,
Yes,
right?
yes, right.
Andy, that message also permeates internationally with the don't cut it off. Don't cut off the flow of information. Because that's what we're trying to encourage not to have happen. So I think it's kind of cool to see what your domestic situation, where we can take it internationally. And this is kind of the good information sharing so that when Walda and I are in Mexico, we don't have this resolution that says, thou shalt filter everything in your country.
Well, and I'll say just parenthetically, not cutting off the flow of information is important from multiple directions.
Yes.
We've learned it's obviously important between kids and parents. It's interestingly, it's awfully important to law enforcement as well. We had the situation in the 90s when there was a little bit less, when there was less understanding in the U.S. of how to deal with some of these issues, and we had legislative proposals, for example, to shut down any chat room where there was any evidence of misrepresentation of age or anything like that. And frankly, there were members of the law enforcement community who came to some members of the civil liberties community to say, please don't let Congress shut down those chat rooms because that's how we find child predators. So I do think that even in those somewhat counterintuitive situations, it's very important. I'm going to let